Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me for this week's Weekly Wisdom. My mom recently sent me a bunch of pictures of quotes, and we're going to cover those over the next few months. But there was one that jumped out that seemed really fitting for right now. And the quote is, "We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking that we used when we created them." And this was from Albert Einstein. And this is perfect for right now because everything that we've known for most of our lives has shifted or completely changed over the past 18 months. And so as leaders, we need to understand what these changes mean and how we're going to react to them. The first thing that we need to realize is that mental health looks different. And while it has always been necessary, it is something that we need to focus on, we need to make space for, and we need to be an example for. So if you are having a mental health day because you're just a little bit burnt out, you need to call it what it is. Because by calling it what it is, that you are taking a mental health day because you need that time, you are giving your employees to do the same thing. Be the role model that your employees need you to be right now. Which brings us to remote work. Now, not all industries will work whenever it comes to remote work, but many of them will. And the pandemic taught us many things, but one of those things is that remote work can happen successfully. Many times as leaders, we get nervous or we realize we don't trust our employees as much as we thought that we did. Or we just have trust issues to begin with and it doesn't matter who it is. Remote work brings a lot of this up. So ask yourself, are you in an industry where remote work can be successful, where it makes sense? If it is, but you're not allowing it, ask yourself why. What is it about remote work that makes you nervous? Is it that you don't trust your employees? You're worried that they're not going to be as productive? Because if you look at the statistics, remote workers tend to be extremely productive and much happier because they're not dealing with the BS commute. They have a much more time to spend with their family. They're able to find better balance. But if you are going to go remote, one, kudos to you, that's amazing, but make sure that you set your employees up and that you understand what the expectations are and you can communicate them. Which brings us to the third thing that we want to talk about, communication. We are going to do a series probably over the next month about leading in a hybrid world. So leading whenever you have employees that are in the office, employees at home, what does that look like? But communication is changing. The expectation of our employees are changing. And yes, this has something to do with new generations in the workforce, but it also has to do with a lot of trust was lost last year with furloughs and layoffs and entire industries. Their employees have lost faith. So hospitality, restaurant, retail, it's not that people don't want to work. They just don't want to work in that industry. And so understand your communication style and understand your employees' communication style. And then how can you bridge that gap between the two? Because remember, I'm going to read the quote one more time. We cannot solve problems by using the same kind of thinking that we used when we created them. The world is a different place, and as leaders, we need to adapt to that. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Weekly Wisdom. I hope you have an amazing week. And if there's anything else that you have found as a leader that you feel we need to talk about, make sure and drop it down in the comments. I'm planning out my weekly wisdoms over the next couple of months, and I would love to hear from y'all and what it is that you're looking for. Have a wonderful week. And don't forget, you got this.